And Laura, if you'll just keep an eye on the back end. Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Tuesday's Builders Best Practices call. And just as setting the context, typically these calls are held on the first and third Tuesdays of every month. And they are designed for people who are with us at EXP that would like to begin building or improving the size of their organization here at EXP. So Casey is not on the call today. I'm sure you've noticed. So you're stuck with me. It's going to be a great Tuesday. Let me see. I've got two people still connecting. 1 second. Let's give them just a moment. And I think this is Joanna Lopez because she came up as Jolo last time. And I was like, oh, I feel like I know who that is. Well, today what I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to leave it open forum since there aren't that many of us right now anyway, but I was going to focus on, and I know this will shock everyone here, the systems and resources available to us with agent attraction. As most of you know, systems, resources, processes are close to my heart. And I just wanted to make sure that people knew kind of what the resources are that are available to them, or even just kind of the flow that typically happens with agent attraction here at EXP. So before I start that, is there anything anyone specifically would like to talk about? I will tell you what we will not be talking about today, and that is the real Remax situation. So that is not on the table today for us. But anything else that someone feels like is an urgent need with regards to agent attraction? Totally open. No, nothing. Hi, Hilaire. I see you in the background, but I don't see you. And also Jolo, who I'm assuming is Joanna Lopez. Quiet.
Hello.
Hi, Joanna, is that
So,
you?
yeah, it's me. Hi,
Okay,
good morning. So,
good morning.
for agent attraction, I mean, can we have some scripts or something so that we can, you know, present the opportunity to be at EXP a little better?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We can certainly talk about that. Okay, so I'm going to add that to my little list here. And anyone else? No? All right. Well, where I'll start, and Joy and I will definitely throw that in, but what I'm going to start with is the process from beginning to end. And this came up in my mind today because I did this last week for someone who will be joining very shortly. And she said, start me from the beginning. Even though she's already made the decision to join and she knows that she's going to be a big builder, she said, I'd like to see what the process looks like and what systems or resources that you're using. So start me as though I just told you, yes, I'm open to talking to you about EXP. So that was like, it was a really good indicator for me to kind of think back and make sure that everyone knows what that is and kind of what that flow looks like. So typically speaking, a conversation about EXP can come about in so many ways, right? And this is something that is very interesting to me that more people aren't open to. It can be that someone came to you directly because you just made the transition over to EXP and perhaps you've posted about it and you're sharing your excitement about this change. And they just reach out to you directly and say, hey, Paula, would you mind sharing with me like what made you switch from such and such brokerage over to EXP? And that's always a great start. And it's an easy start, right? Like that's our best possible scenario for an agent attraction conversation because it's just purely organic and happening. The other ways that I would encourage you to think about it is agents you meet at open houses, agents on the other side of your transaction, someone that you've known for years if you've been in the industry for a long time. And we always want to say, and you've probably heard this term before, don't EXP all over them. It just makes them feel yucky. It really does. And you need to be talking about it in the sense of what could it do for them? What are they looking for? So, Joanna, in that case, like if you even wanted to start having that very first conversation, I always like to start with, hey, how's business? Right? How are things going? And, let them answer. Please listen with the intent to actually hear what they're saying, not with the intention of actually just replying immediately, because usually they're going to tell you something that's really important when you ask how business is. Oh, Hilaire, you're having tech issues. Can you hear us? Text back and let me know if you can hear us at least. I'm gonna just double check. Yes. Okay. Excellent. Fantastic. So at least we can, I would love to see your smiling face if it's possible, but if not, that's okay as well. Um, so when you're asking them that, usually they're going to tell you something, right? They're going to say something like, wow, business is great, but I'm feeling really overwhelmed. It could be, I wish business was better. I'm really struggling with lead generation. Something is going to come out in the conversation as long as you're not, um, listening with just the intention to reply. And so, in response to that, I want you to think about it after they say that to you about what might be possible for them here. I want you to consider, is there something here that could help them with that business? Is there something that could help them with that overwhelm? Whatever that is. And the best way to say this is, would you be open to a conversation, right? Would you be open to a conversation about what that might look like here? Now, a lot of folks come to us and say, I don't know what to say. I don't know enough about EXP. And this is where I wanted to make sure you understood what your resources are. You do not need to know everything. I was on a call yesterday with someone who's actually been with EXP for 2 years, but he really doesn't know enough about the ins and outs because he's just out there selling real estate. He's like, I'm just selling real estate, but I've got somebody who asked me a question. Where do I go from here? I'm like, great, put him on a call. Let's just jump on a call. And here we call that a third-party validation call. We have that in our resources. Go ahead, Paula. Go ahead. No worries. Talk to you later. We have that in our resources. Laura, would you mind putting that page from the Empire Builders Pro site for the third-party validation in the chat? If that is your next step, because you say, hey, listen, I love that you want to learn more about it. I have a partner here at EXP that just does a great job about digging into all the ins and outs and what might work here for you and what might be beneficial to you. Would it be okay if we all jump on a call? Okay, it's super, super easy to do. There's no real pressure. It's like, hey, this is my partner. We talk to people all the time. And they're usually, I haven't had anybody say no. Actually, I really haven't had anybody say no. And you can book with me on that site. You can book with Casey. You can book with your direct sponsor. You can go up multiple levels depending on how much that conversation needs to go up. That's ideal if you don't feel like you know enough about communicating all of the benefits of EXP. There are those of us here that make it our business to know absolutely everything. So use the resources available to you. Thank you, Laura. Use the people that are available to you. Laura put it in the chat. That is the link to our third-party validation call scheduling page. It has myself, it has Casey, it's a couple other leaders inside of the organization. And you can always ask us as well if there's someone that we think after we have that first call with you that might be beneficial for them to talk to as well. If they're a team leader and they're running a reasonably sized team, absolutely connect them with another team leader inside of the organization that would be a good resource for them to talk to about how it's helped them. If they're an independent brokerage currently and they're exploring the possibility of moving the entire brokerage over, have them with us first, and then we could make a suggestion as well. There are two opportunities there when you have something like a team or a brokerage that most people here in the organization do not take advantage of. It is one, getting somebody on with, that's another big team, and two, the growth team. The growth team will actually meet with them and say, and like we'll review numbers. We'll do a numbers comparison from what their production was in the last 12 months, where they are and what it would look like if they were here. So that's another really incredible opportunity that most people don't take. I love it when it's Russ Lagan. He's kind of amazing. We have Frank Panuto over on the East Coast. He's also incredible. Tony King does I feel like all the way from California to Texas. I'm not kidding, like all the states. So those are folks that are employed by EXP that are here to help you get people whatever answers they might need. Most people do not take advantage of this. That's what they're here for. They're here to help you with agent attraction and growth here. So make sure that if it's a brokerage or a team, and even if it's just a top producer, there's always an opportunity there. Take advantage of the resources that are available to you. You don't have to carry all of this yourself. Okay. So there's like a lot of little bits and pieces and people that are here to support you in whatever that growth looks like, no matter what level that agent is at. Any thoughts or questions on any of that so far? No, 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 quiet. I know it's a small group today. I love it when it's small though. So the next step is, and I'm going to go through this explanation so that you truly understand all of these different pieces and parts. Some of you may have been here for several years, like I am, and it looks different than it used to. So I did my join application myself. Nobody offered to do it with me. I just powered through that puppy, but it looks a lot different now. We like to do it with the applicant, if at all possible. So the reason I'm bringing this up is someone recently talked to me about onboarding, and my definition of onboarding was different than her definition of onboarding. My definition of onboarding was we are going to do the join application with them live on Zoom to ensure that they get any questions answered while they're going through the process, and so that we know it got filled out. I'm sure some of you have had people who said, I'm going to do the join application, and then they never do the join application. So they schedule with either myself or with Laura, and we give them 45 minutes. We share that screen on Zoom, and we're going through every step of the process with them. We're ensuring that they're putting the right sponsor, that they understand what that means. Everything goes through. Then once they've completed that, we tell them what the next step is. The next step is you're going to get something that says it's all been reviewed, and your next step is license transfer. Typically, I am not on Zoom with someone when they do a license transfer. Someone recently asked me that. They're like, why don't you handle it? I'm like, because there are 50 states and every one of them does it differently. And the beauty of what EXP sends them is they get a great email with all of the exact instructions for how to do it in the state that they're in. I really like it because it's not only that, they're also getting like the policies and procedures guides typically, and like resources that are specific to their state. I am not familiar with every state's licensing process. Wisconsin makes me want to pull all of my eyelashes out. It is one of the most difficult license transfer processes that I have encountered so far. California, super easy. You just log on, you move your license yourself. You put the license information. New York, not a thing. You have to ask your old broker to release your license, wait for that to come out, and then ask EXP to go in and pull in your license. So it's different in every one, which is why I tell them, please follow the directions exactly. If for any reason whatsoever, something feels like you're struggling with it, then absolutely let us know. Hilaire, you came off of mute. Would you like to add something or ask something?
Oh no,
Oh, okay.
sorry.
No, 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 it's okay. I just always like that's like a trigger in my head. So um I do just encourage them to do that. Occasionally I do get someone and they just can't figure it out despite the line item by line item instruction. And that's okay. I say, great, forward me the email that you got, and then let's jump on Zoom together. That way I also have the instructions and can guide them through live while we're doing it. Then we explain to them. The next step is they're going to pull you in and you're going to start receiving a lot of emails that are going to tell you all of your logins and all of the things that have to happen in order for you to get set up at EXP. From there, they're getting an email from me as well that says you're getting a lot of emails, and here are the top 8 things you should do. If you're not encouraging people to take the Agent Essentials class, there are a lot of opportunities for them to learn more about the EXP systems. And the reason I'm bringing this up is when I said earlier that someone said onboarding and we had 2 different ideas about what onboarding was, her idea of onboarding was from the time they get their license pulled in forward. And she wanted someone to guide them through each one of the platforms that are available to them. I'm going to tell you why I typically do not do that. My email gives them exactly in order what they should do, and I want them to go and I want them to log in and I want them to go through that process. EXP spent a lot of time and effort and energy creating those courses, and they are designed to teach agents how to start maneuvering inside of our systems. I want them to self-learn all of that based on what's been created for them, so that now they know where those resources are. If I do it all for them on Zoom, they're not learning that. Most people learn by the doing, right? It's not just the watching, it's by the actual doing, the tactile act of going to the website, using your mouse, moving it around, going into each course. So I encourage people to allow them to learn in that way, so that it's like it's gonna set inside of their memory. Okay, I gave you guys a lot already. Any thoughts or questions on just kind of that process so far? No? It's gonna be a Selena only talks day. Okay. Okay. All right, so that's kind
What
of the
about
oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Joanna.
what about if they have resistance and they're like want to join, but then they're not really serious. They're just kind of like on the back burner.
They've told you that they want to join, but they haven't moved forward.
Yes,
Okay.
I have one like
So
that. Yeah.
yeah, there's a couple, and I think I know who you're talking about because they still haven't scheduled with me yet. Um, so, my recommendation for that is keep inviting them to different things. So, free Friday coaching calls that we're doing twice a month, that is a way for them to start experiencing what they get here and start participating and seeing what's available to them. It's kind of a low pressure way of saying like last week we had Leo Robles on and he was all about AI. That's a great invitation. Hey, I know that, we've been talking about you onboarding and you haven't done it yet, and maybe you're not ready yet, but hey, I just wanted to let you know we have this great speaker on Friday. He's going to talk all about AI for realtors. It's going to be a really great opportunity for you to just kind of explore who we are and what we do. That is like low pressure. Show up, participate or don't participate, just listen. And now they've gotten an experience of us, right? There's a lot of different things like that. We do this one. Yesterday, I did the A's to Z's of building a real estate team. So you can come to that even if you're not with us yet. It doesn't matter, right? We have people that come to this builders call that are not with us yet, but we know that they want to build. So we invite them to start participating and seeing what kind of support they're going to get. It's a very easy way of kind of easing them in if you're seeing that pushback happen right now. Invitation, invitation,
Got it.
invitation. The next best thing is an invitation to a live event. Okay, next best thing. If you've got something local, if Brent Gove is doing something up in the Sacramento area, we're all getting those emails all the time about what's happening there. If you've got something locally, like I'm here in Houston, but the broker team is constantly doing live events. So again, it's like an in-person invitation is also super helpful. And then if it's close to an event, say, hey, I know you're still on the fence, you're still thinking about it, but EXPCon is coming up. Why don't you come? Right? Why don't you go to Cabo? Well, it's not Cabo this year, it'll be Scottsdale. I got to get that out of my head. So I'm used to saying Cabo.
Call it one big fire
Oh,
because no matter what city it's in, that's probably going to be the name of it.
that's a good idea. I need to switch my verbiage to one big fire. So things like that often help people get right over the line. That's a huge opportunity for them to experience the type of people, the culture that we have, the resources that are available to them. That way it doesn't feel too. People love it when we say that we're going to someplace amazing like Scottsdale. I mean, they just do. Cabo is always a big win for a lot of people. Miami was for EXPCon. Salt Lake City should be interesting. I've been there 952 times, so it's not as big of an issue for me, but it is actually a really nice place to go. So use those invitations to keep people moving along. It's just a good way, whether it be a Zoom or not. And we have a lot of opportunities available to us. So that was a really good question, Joanna. Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit to other resources that are available to you to start having the process. The model explained. And it's very easy to find. I get people who ask me this all the time. Selena, what's the website? Are you ready? It's themodelexplained.com. Like it's always the same. Laura, will you put it in the chat, please? I keep it on my phone. I saved it like as a bookmark on my screen. So it's just very easy for me to send to anyone, but very easy to remember. The model explained. Let Brent do the work for you. Brent Gove does an incredible job. It was updated this past year. It talks about RevShare 2.0. It gives a great, like all overarching explanation of what's available to them as agents at EXP. Now, when you click on that now, it's going to open up. You're going to see a giant picture of Brent, and there's going to be a play sign in the middle, like press play on YouTube. When you press play, it actually opens up more. Okay, so it's going to have Brent at the top. Russ Lagan is the second. This is new. And he's a 6-minute explanation. If you've got somebody with very low attention span, like really low, Brent's is 30 minutes, Russ's is 6 minutes, and it's still really good. And he does it with the whiteboard and he always draws little stick figures and it's always great. So if you've got somebody who's you think is only gonna commit 6 minutes, but wants a nice, concise explanation of what's available to them, use Russ's to get them started. And if they're interested after that first 6 minutes, say, hey, now I'd like you to go watch Brent's. We're not just asking them to watch it. You're asking them to watch it and come back with what questions, thoughts, excitement came up for them while watching it. If you really want to take it one step further, watch it with them. Open it up on Zoom, watch it all together. We did the 6-minute video the other day with someone and they were like, oh, okay. And now they're going to go back and watch the Brent 30-minute. I have there's a woman in our organization and I thought this was the cutest idea. When she has a recruit that she's speaking to and she wants to ask them to watch it, she gets everything on Amazon. She makes these little boxes and she overnights it to them. And it's got a little thing of popcorn and the popcorn holder like you get at some of the movie theaters. And she puts a soda in it and she puts a candy bar in it. And she makes this whole box and it's their watch party box. And I think it's the cutest idea. And she just sends it to their home address, but she still watches it live with them and she makes her own little popcorn. And so you can see her on Zoom with her popcorn and her soda, and you can see them on Zoom, and they all watch the video together for 30 minutes. Okay. That's a commitment. I think it's a valuable one if it means that you can answer questions at the end of the 30 minutes. So schedule a call for 45 minutes, watch it for 30 minutes together, and then give yourself 15 minutes to have a conversation at the end. You don't want them to just say, I watched it. You want to ask them what was important or exciting that they heard, because now you know kind of the path you're going to lead them on when you continue the recruiting conversation with them. Okay, if they said revenue share, yeah, you're going to want to put them on with Casey. Yep, I love that, Debbie. What do they like and what questions do they have? If they say, I really want to talk more about stocks, you're now more prepared for that conversation as well. If they say, hey, I'm thinking about building a team one day, great. That's going to be our next third-party validation call. Let's put them on with a team leader who's running a team here successfully at EXP, right? So when they watch it and something excited them or they have a question about it, it's telling you who that next step might be. If they just say, I watched it and you didn't ask them anything about it and they didn't take any notes, you're not really even sure what that next step should be, right? You're just like, oh, great, I'm glad you liked it. What do you want to do? We don't know we don't have enough information to kind of keep them moving forward in the process. So there's that. Is anyone here taking a look at the growth team's EXP toolkit? No? Okay. So actually I'm going to pull this up live while we're on. Give me just 1 second. If you are not exploring all of the available toolkits that we have at EXP, everything out, because it's really grown. It used to be that we just had the buyer and seller toolkit, and it has grown and grown and grown since then. Let me just close that out. So very easy. You just go to exptoolkit.com and it takes you to this landing page, and you'll see that there's a lot available to you here. Agent State Resource Guide. This is really valuable. I mentioned earlier that I send an email that gives them like all of the next steps. In my email, I have their state resource guide. And I change it for each individual person. If it's California, I change it to the California one. If it's Wisconsin, I change it to the Wisconsin one. And it's very easy to do inside of here. What I want you to come down and see, though, is growth and attraction. Okay, so when you go to this toolkit, and Joanna, the reason I'm bringing this up is there are a lot of scripts in here, a lot of scripts available to you. So I would encourage you to go look at this one. And again, it's exptoolkit.com/growth. And when you scroll down, you can see this is kind of what we talked about. I said, hey, if you're not using the growth team, you really should, right? And it asks you to define what kind of attractor are you. This is going to be completely dependent on where you are in your business or how even you see yourself, right? If you are a producer, you're probably going to attract other producers, okay? If you're a speaker and a promoter, you're probably going to attract other real estate agents who are speakers and promoters. Influencers, same sort of thing. I'm a coach, so almost all of my entire organization at EXP are fellow coaches. It's just kind of what happens, right? We attract what we are. So that just kind of happens organically. We talked a little bit. This is that 6-minute video, right? We've got a couple of different options here. I do encourage you guys to take some time and build in your schedule that you're going to go and watch these videos and take a look at the different things that are available to you here. Revenue Share 2.0, if it's someone who's interested in building. Co-sponsorship. There's a whole toolkit in here to explain that better if you don't understand what it means. I just sent it to someone yesterday who needed more information. Those EXPs explained. Guys, I want you to understand, and we're going to go to my Trello board in a moment. There are different EXP explains. There's Brent. There's a corporate one. There's those in Spanish. There's a very specific EXP explained for commercial. That's a different conversation, right? Because if you don't know this, the splits are different. The monthly fees are different for commercial. So I've had this happen where someone told someone in commercial what all those were. And when they got on their third-party validation call with me, I had to give them the bad news that the monthly amount is way, way more because the tool stack is so much bigger, right? So make sure that you're understanding this, or if you don't, that you're putting them on with someone who does. Go ahead, Joanna.
How much is it monthly?
100.
How much is it for?
500 a month. Yeah, for commercial. It's a very different situation. Referral is also different. It's not an 80-20 split. It's a 70-30 split. Okay, and there is no cap. You're paying that as a referral agent until whatever. So these are things that are important for you to learn, for you to know.
I didn't catch that. How much is it monthly?
500 a month for commercial.
Okay, yeah, for the tools and everything.
Yeah, it's a massive tech stack. And normally, if you were paying for all of that technology stack separately, it would be almost $2,000. So it's still a massive savings, but it is a lot. It's a big difference than $85 a month. Okay. So make sure that either you know it because you've gone in here and you've learned these things, or you've put them in touch with someone who can make sure that they're giving them the right information. So again, there's just a lot in here. This is one of my favorite sheets. I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can see it. This is a great recruiting tool. So we call it, what do I get for my $85 a month? Okay, when you open this, and I'm not going to open it right now because it opens up in a kind of a weird screen. Each one of these is clickable. I use this almost every time I'm on with a potential recruit. And it's because they want to know what the technology is. They want to know what all of their lead generation opportunities are. Well, what kind of training? I'm pretty new. Is there any training for new agents? Or I really want to become a better listing agent, right? All of that's here. Here's your support. Here are the extras, right? Do you want to join luxury, commercial? We just talked about land and ranch, Regis offices. All of that is on here. Now, I send it to them in a link. Some of the stuff can be opened without a login. Some of it can't. It doesn't matter. What they see is, wow, that's a lot for $85 a month. That's what comes across, right? They can go in and explore a couple of different things. So make sure that you're going through this and seeing what's possible. They give you all kinds of ideas if you want to host a lunch and learn, if you want to actually do an event. They give you this. I love this event in a box guide, exactly how to create one, where to start, all of the steps and processes, a checklist. It's actually really helpful for somebody. Someone just recently said that they wanted to do one kind of like a lunch and learn a little bit. And I said, hey, here, this is your best place to go. Go in and get all of the information so that you can have a great event. Let me know how it goes. Now, Joanna, I keep wanting to call you Jolo because I see it on the screen and I like it. This is those sample scripts that we were talking about, and there's an objection handling playbook. They address everything you can possibly imagine that somebody says no. Oh, I really want to go into an office. Oh, I really, I'm so used to having people around me all the time, right? Whatever the objection is, or this cloud thing seems newfangled. I'm like, really? It's been over 10 years. It's not very newfangled anymore. But they're going to give you all of the responses that you can possibly have. And then you can see here that Leo Pareja has done actually some live videos on what it is. This is a very popular one, by the way, and I do encourage you to watch this one. Oh, well, it doesn't really matter now because I didn't get in on the ground floor. I'm not going to earn as much. A rev share is not going to happen. It's too late. I've missed the boat. I love that one. Okay. We know that we have the most amount of growth in front of us. the most amount of growth in front of us. Also, if you were here in the beginning, like I mentioned before, it was not the same. Onboarding was not as smooth. There wasn't as much support. The folks who are coming in now are getting a different experience than even 4 or 5 years ago, especially 10 years ago, right? A lot has been created to create an experience for them that is much improved. Yes, they have this script battle. This is cute. They did this in Miami. So these are some really good ones to watch as well. So you can see there's no shortage of opportunity to learn more about growth and attraction. The 200 Club is pretty cool. So you should have been added in this automatically if you had anywhere between 1 and 200 in your organization. Yeah, Debbie's nodding. Like we all got the invitation, and you can come in here and look at it if for any reason that you're not. Because if you don't have anyone under you yet, you wouldn't. It's 1 to 200. They've designed this to help you get to 200. That's the idea, to get past 200. There are regular meetings for this. There's regular trainings for this, opportunities to teach you to be better at agent attraction, so that you can get to this point, right? Go ahead, Debbie.
I get emails with calendar invites all the time for this, and I didn't know what it was.
Oh, no? Okay, they announced it like, oh goodness, maybe mid last year, I think it was.
Well,
And
mid last year, I was going through
oh yeah, move and
my move and all that, so I probably missed it. So, in fact, I know I missed it because I have no idea what it is.
what it is.
Okay, so I think the call is during our sales meeting, our team
Yeah,
call.
I think it is. But they record them.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to
Typically
look into
record
that.
them. I think it's in the Slack channel. There should be a Slack channel that you were also invited to, and I think they put the recordings in there.
Okay.
If you're not, you can always reach out to them and they'll add you in. I love it. It's just one extra level of support, right? So make sure that you're kind of going through these things, right? Like it's a lot happening in here. You can see here. I love this. If you haven't, anyone, I know several people here have taken FastCap. There is an agent attraction version of FastCap called Fast Attract, also available in EXP University. That is where they kind of go through all of this. It is a 6-week program that operates at the speed of light, in my opinion, but it's a lot of great information. They encourage you to make your attraction call list. This is all of the agents that you might have a conversation with. They ask you to start around 200, right? If you don't have the wealth chart poster, oh, mine's not in here anymore. I actually took this. This is the new and updated one. And I had it made poster size. And then I went and bought a cheap Walmart poster frame with the clear plastic, because I like to be able to erase mine. So I use that so that I can use dry erase markers on it and make changes. So it's very inexpensive. It's like $15 to get that frame. And then basically what your wealth chart does is you tracking who is already in your front line that's over here. Like each step is a little bit different. Generals is the people who are the biggest builders in your organization. In progress is people that you're talking to. Guys, the reason this becomes important, and this is something Rick used to do all the time, and you might have seen him on calls where he had these giant pieces of, the paper that you write on the flip charts, and they had sticky on the back, and he had them everywhere. And if he went from one house to another house, they went with him because he was very visual. So he needed to see their names on the list, right? I don't do that as much because I operate really from a from a system, shocking. But I do actually like to see the wealth chart. So I would encourage you, like you can take it from here and you can send it to something like FedEx.com and have it enlarged to poster size and then have that framed so that you can write on it. It's just another great resource for you to have as you start building your organization. And then you see here, they have all these links to scripts and all of the different things that you might say or objections. And some of this is actually really good because they are those videos that I talked about, like different, instead of just reading something, some people really like to not only read it, but see it live and in action. And if that's how you like to learn, I encourage you to do that. And then they have, again, these kind of masterminds and events with what's going on. Okay, I know I'm still throwing a lot at you. Questions, thoughts?
So where are you getting this? Where are you now?
I am in exptoolkit.com
Oh, okay.
/growth. Yeah, Laura put it in the chat. Thank you, Laura. So much here. We're not even to the bottom of the page yet. Uh, like there's so much here. And by the way, they're constantly adding stuff. So even since the last time I've looked at this, there are new videos in here. So like I have to remind myself to go back in and see what else has been added and what's new and what's possible. This is fairly new, like why are top teams and agents coming, right? Really like when somebody who's big comes, they tend to post the announcements in here. It's really good for you to see why. That way, if you're having a conversation with a team and they're like, I don't know why I would do it, look at what Dana said. It was growth, scalability, freedom, collaboration, and global reach. Those are great talking points. You don't have to come up with everything on your own. It's already available here for you, right? That is the beauty of what they do is they build it so that we have everything we need at our fingertips. And you don't have to come up with something. You don't have to go into ChatGPT or something and say, come up with a script. It's here already. Again, just more and more and more in here. This is that growth team that I mentioned to you. If for any reason you don't know who to call or you don't know who to contact, please reach out to me because I can tell you who it is. I'm always going to go right here. This map changes every now and then because I think Tony King has like the world's largest or like, I mean, like I was like, they just gave you the whole country, man. But he's very good. He's very good at having conversations with people if they are thinking about EXP. So you can come in here, you can take a look at the map and you can see who to reach out to. They did just recently change all of this to the hub. We are trying to fully switch from Slack to the hub. It's going to be a process. We know it. But if you do that, it's going to come up here and you can message them on the hub. What happens is you tell them what you're looking for. They then send you the appropriate Calendly link to book. So if it's a team, it's going to be a team conversation. If it's a brokerage, it's going to be a brokerage conversation. If it's just, I say just, if it's a top producer, they're going to give you a link for that. They do that so that they have the right people on the call, depending on what you asked for. So take advantage of them. These are all really fantastic people. Their whole job, their entire job is to help you grow and to help you agent attract. That's what they do for a living here. So utilize them. This is probably one of the most underutilized resources that we have. If you want to do a lunch and learn, but let's say it's a Zoom, like you're doing a mastermind of some kind, you can also reach out to them. They've been announcing this a lot lately, and they will speak. If they're local, they'll do it local. If it needs to be via Zoom, they'll do it via Zoom. Again, you don't have to carry the whole load by yourself. I've been seeing them speak at a lot of different places and on a lot of Zooms lately. It's incredible to have them there. And if you bring recruits in for that, let them get them over the line for you. Okay, so utilize what's available to you here. So again, just a lot here. This is three-way calls depending on who you're looking for. This is not ours, this is theirs, but they will do it with you as well. Live strategy sessions. And then again, there's that fast attract that we talked about. So again, just a lot here, guys. I mean, I'm still scrolling. We're still not at the bottom of the page. So it's like, how many people knew this was here and knew how robust it was?
I knew it was there, but I'd never looked at it. So how much that is massive information, my goodness. And then the availability of people willing to help is even more incredible because people always there's the people that always say, "Oh, I didn't have any support." Well, did you even know where to look for support? Because I think this company has probably the most support ever. And it's not just from the people that sponsor you, but from EXP, the brokerage. And I think you just need to connect. You need to just plug in because what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. If you're not putting anything into it, you're not going to get anything out of it. And that's not a brokerage problem. That's a you problem.
That's a you problem. I totally agree. And that made me actually think of something else. That is another step that we will often put into place. If they said, when you said, how is business? They said, God, I wish my broker taught us more things. Okay. Your next call to schedule with them would be with their broker, who it would be at EXP. You can also book directly with them. We do it all the time. If someone had a bad experience with their current broker, they're never available, they're never in the office, I'm like, great, let me introduce you to the 5 of them that are available in California, right? It blows their mind that there are five, I think there's actually eight now, but there's eight brokers in California. They've gone from having a bad experience somewhere where that person is never available to them showing up on a Zoom call and saying, let us introduce ourselves. Let us show you all the ways you can get in touch with us through the world, through the 1-800 number, through the email address. All of a sudden, they're like, whoa. I haven't seen my broker live and in person in 3 months, but you've got all these people on Zoom that are available to me in all of these different ways. More resources. Okay. This is where most people drop the ball in agent attraction. You think it has to just be you as their sponsor. There is a whole team of people behind you, whether it's your upline, whether it's staff, whether it's the broker team, whether it's peers, it doesn't matter. There's a lot available. Utilize it. Become familiar with it. This is really something you should be putting, like, I love the idea. I think I told a couple of people about this last year. It's like setting yourself a curriculum. And I'm not talking about continuing education for your license. I'm talking about curriculum, about things that you want to learn about, whether that be something new about being a better listing agent, or whether it's about agent attraction and all of the tools and resources that are available to you to help you do that. And that's just kind of what's available there. There's a lot more inside of my Trello board. Most of you have it, I think. Everything that anyone's ever asked me for, I've saved. And I keep it in there, and I'm constantly updating the Trello board because I want that to be where you go first for resources if there's something that you need. I touched briefly on it earlier, and this is something I do want to discuss. If it's a team or a brokerage, we do what we call a comparison call. Now, what that means is they have to contribute. Like I'm doing one right now, and it's a small brokerage. And I said, great, I need what your last 12 months total production, total volume, total GCI, and total units for everybody on that in that brokerage. They give me that list. I check it, make sure I have everything I need. And then it goes into a spreadsheet, and we jump on a call with the growth team, and they go in and say, great, you gave us all of your numbers where you currently are. We know their splits. We know everything about it, what their monthly fees are. They then present it as though you'd been with EXP for the exact same 12 months. And so that now you have an apples to apples conversation. It's not I have to figure out like what the math is or how much would that have cost me or what would be different. We will schedule a call, and we're all together and we review it and say, this is what it would look like. It's not always better. Sometimes when the situation is like a flat fee sort of situation, what that happens, we still present it exactly like it is, but we talk about the level of support that they're getting, especially if it's a broker owner. Most of the time, it's that we're taking a ton of admin off their plate. All of a sudden, they're no longer liable. They're not having to do all the errors and omissions. They're not having to cut checks. And they're like, oh, thank God, my life is so much better, right? Like sometimes the financial side of it is not what makes the difference. It's the rest of it that comes into play. So again, that's a team, and that is a broker owner and a brokerage that's going to come over. Is everyone here familiar with all of the different kinds of teams? Like what the team options are at EXP? No. So
No.
they've just renamed them. So it's important for me to tell you because I was just on a team call this morning for someone who's starting a team. So we have a standard team. Well, let's start from the very beginning. There's also domestic partnership. So people can come in, husband and wife into EXP. They count as one cap. And one of them pays $85 a month and the other one only pays $50 a month. But all production is done through the primary. So let's say if it was the husband, I don't know why we're putting him first, but we are. If it's the husband, all production gets listed through him in that domestic partnership. Okay. And they count as one for you as an FLA or FLQA. Domestic partnerships only count as one. So that's one type of team that can come in. The next one that you have is a self-organized team. And that is, there's no production requirements, there's no split requirements, and everybody's on a full cap. Everyone. Okay. The next one is a standard team, which now they're calling a full cap team. I mean, a half cap team. Sorry. And that is you have a team leader and you have team members who are half cappers. So they're just renaming them half cap team. That's the benefit to those team members. They're coming in, they're only paying a half a cap, right? At $8,000, they've capped out. They still owe their team split. This is new information, just found it out this morning. It used to be that the team leader had to at least average out to earning 25% from the team split. It has now been reduced to 15%. Just found that out this morning. So meaning you can have someone on your team that's been a buyer's agent with you for years, and you can set that at 85-15, and you can have a brand new agent that you know is going to require a lot more of your, your time and energy for that team, and that can be at a 50-50 split, like whatever it is that you want to set, as long as it all averages out to at least 15%. This is important when you're talking to teams that are considering coming over. You want to make sure that they understand the requirements. It's also a $6 million volume requirement. So like, let's say, Joanna, let's say you said, Selina, I'd like to start a team and you're a recruit. I look at it and I say, here are the options, and I'm going to put you on with team services because, again, support and resources so they can go over it with you. But I'm going to look at your volume and determine which is the best option to talk to you about. If you're already producing over 6 million in volume, yeah, you're going to qualify for that half cap team. I, for example, am starting a small team in Houston. I don't qualify. I haven't been in sales in years. So I'm having to start out as a full cap team, meaning anybody who joins me is going to have to come in as a full cap until we hit 6 million in volume. Once that's met, and it's 30 transactions or 6 million in volume. It's an or situation. Then we have the other thing. This is where broker owners and large teams really come into play. It used to be called a mega team. Now it's called a quarter capper team. The team leader is 16,000. Team members are quarter cappers. They're only paying $4,000. It's kind of incredible for team members that maybe we're paying a lot more than that at whatever brokerage they used to be at. Now, what I want you to understand as agent attractors, this is important for you to know. Whether they're quarter cappers or half cappers, you're only earning either half or quarter of the revenue share possible for those team members. Most people forget that when they're doing their rev share calculator. They calculate everybody as full cappers and the full earnings of what you're able to earn on each level. If they are a quarter capper team member, you will only ever earn a quarter of whatever it is on that revenue share. Okay, so just keep that stuff in mind. All right, 10 minutes left. Questions, thoughts? That was a lot. So many resources, right? Who knew? I knew, but it's my job to make sure you guys know. And that's really just the tip of the iceberg, right? There's a lot available to you out there. Hilaire, anything that I know you're driving, so I don't want you to unmute or talk if it's going to distract you while you're driving, because that makes me a nervous wreck. You're all good? You can thumbs up.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Not about what you just said, but I had like 3 different people that wanted to join me at EXP, and they found out that they had to join the Realtor Association and pay those dues. They backed away immediately when they found that out.
Do they not want to do that? Are they not planning to do real estate? Are they only referral agents?
Oh no, they were producing agents, and I was so excited that they were going to join me because we had a lot of fun together. But they just would not agree to pay the realtor dues. Is there any way around that now, or
how are they doing business without being a part of an MLS?
no? Like the realtor, the big R.
Oh, NAR.
NAR. Sorry, yeah, NAR.
That's very interesting that they don't want to do that.
Yeah, well, it's used to be kind of a thing here. Now it's sort of going away, but not everyone wants to join it because they're trying, especially if they're like an investor, they don't want to pay that extra money.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, we've made that I think they make it a requirement because of the idea that you're participating in our association and all of the guidelines and rules and regulations that govern us as a result of that.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, that would be why we do it. The only way to get around that is to become a referral agent. but it means you can't actively be doing any of the business. You have to refer everything out. That's the only way around it.
Oh, so if you're like retired or something and you refer people.
Yeah, we have a lot of people who are referral
Oh,
agents and they like it because it's, you don't have to join the MLS, you don't have to join the association, you just have to be licensed. You pay $50 to
oh,
become a referral agent. Um,
okay.
yeah, I mean, I get it. Like I prefer to do business with people who I know are paying attention to what's happening out there in the real estate world as well.
Is
Go
the
ahead.
hesitancy because of the lawsuits and stuff? Is that why they don't want to pay for NAR?
Oh, no, it was before all the lawsuits. They just don't want to, they didn't want that extra expense.
Mm. I just consider it a part of doing business.
Yeah, I do too. I've been a member for a long time, and I actually like it because the quality of the training is better at that level.
I
But
agree.
anyway,
I mean, I think I would just maybe dig a little deeper about why
yeah,
it's and I get it if they're an investor. A lot of times that does happen because they don't want to do anything that is on the norm side of
right.
things. I find that with investors all the time. But ask them to participate in a call, get them on with somebody, and let's dig a little deeper about what the hiccup is. Sometimes we can kind of address it head on and like the opportunity is so much bigger than without it, right? It's like you just get a lot
Yeah,
more opportunity whenever they come over. But that's a good question.
yeah. Okay.
Yep. Anything else, guys? Anything else coming up? I would encourage you, like, even if like once a week you were like, I'm going to spend 15 or 20 minutes just looking at exptoolkit.com and become familiar with everything that's there. Most people don't spend any time looking at it. Like I go to the one on Canva because they've been changing what some of our stuff is. There's an EXP toolkit for Canva about what's possible and available in there. The buyer, like someone the other day said, I've been a buyer's agent for a while. I really want to learn to be a listing agent. I sent her to the toolkit for seller becoming a listing agent. Um, and I was shocked because when I went in to look at it, it was way more than when they first released it, right? I was like, darn it, now I got to go learn this. So put it on your calendar and just say, hey, I'm going to spend 15 minutes a week just making sure I'm going in there every now and then and looking to see what's new or updated, and what's possible because use them as recruiting tools. I have sent that seller toolkit. Almost everything on that page is available without a login. So like
Oh,
you're trying to recruit someone and they're like, I've been a buyer's agent. I want training. I want to learn to get better as a listing agent. I'm like, hey, why don't you go take a peek at this and see what's possible and see what's available to you? And they're like, wow, all of that's on there for anybody to just go see. And I'm like, yep, just go take a look. What's out there? Like go learn, watch the videos, get an example of how to, become a better listing agent and use what's available to pull people in. Chances are they're not getting this wherever they are,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. Okay, guys, well, I'm going to wrap up 5 minutes early. I appreciate you guys coming and participating today. I enjoy seeing all of your lovely faces. Casey should be back by the time we have our next one. So I hope to see you at that one as well. As always, these recordings are on our empirebuilders.pro/resources. That gives you access to the YouTube channel. You can always go and rewatch anything. And in case you have to miss it, you can see it there. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you so much. Bye, guys.
Okay, thank you. Bye
Yeah.
bye.